You noble diggers, all stand up now.
Welcome, comrade. Never forget the forms.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about two apologies. Yesterday I didn't upload. I apologize. I was depressed. The news surrounding this Charlie Kirk assassination, Bad Empanada calls it not a big news thing, but he's wrong. It is huge, and it's served as a weather gauge, right? As a civilization, we're screwed. This channel's purpose, right, is to stop hundreds of millions of refugees and billions starving to death. That is coming imminently, right? And we're talking about nonsense, right? We got liberals crying about this Nazi, right? That violence is too much. Completely detached from reality, right? And to say that political violence is wrong in a time of genocide when you've ripped up the UN documents, the pager attack, how long until a pager attack here, 1,000 laptops blow up in a school or something like that? God damn it, we are not on the right track. We're screwed. We are heading towards civilization collapse. And so I'm begging this audience, right? Push me in bigger streamers. We need to accelerate this timeline. We need to be jumping up bigger channels, right? We need to put a mayor in charge of London, Sydney, and Toronto. And then from there, we can push the joining of the United States of America from the Commonwealth of Canada. And then from there, we can stop the starving of billions. Please push me. Copy, paste. This whole thing is analogous to the Civil War, right? The last Civil War. It cooks for a long time before it kicks off. And there's death and mayhem, bleeding Kansas, right? Reprisal attacks. We cannot head down the same path before. We must read history, learn from history, and jump over this moment, right? We cannot anaconda plan this. We have to assert authority with nuclear threats once we have the executive again. These Confederates aren't people. They're a threat to humanity. Okay, we're going to talk about the apology. Socrates' apology. An apologia means a defense, right? Which is not what an apology means in English, but kinda, right? You should think of him as being very flippant. Anyways, he comes to the Parliament of Athens, which is where the trial is taking place, right? There's 500 jurors. They're being led by these younger men, right? But Socrates is an old man, as are most of the men in the audience. And Socrates has pissed most of them off, right? They're mad at him for embarrassing them on any number of topics, right? As we just did with piety last week with Euthyphro, which is why I showed that beforehand, right? Because I want you to see what he was doing to these people so that they would act so unjustly to him as they're about to. They charge him with two crimes, right? Which is corrupting the youth and defaming or profaning the gods, right? Or the god, which is Apollo. They're talking about Apollo. Depends on the translation you get. So Socrates rolls up into this parliament, right? He's carried on a palanquin, right? It's not known generally about Socrates, but he needed 6 slaves on either side to carry his giant nuts into the room, because he did not intend on apologizing to these people, as I don't intend on apologizing to Confederate scum. Right? He goes in there and he says, "What are you talking about? Right? What are you talking about?" He says, "I went to the Oracle of Delphi. They said I'm the wisest. I know that I know nothing. And so I went out to see what else other people knew. And they all didn't even know that," right? That they all knew less than knowing nothing. brilliant, beautiful, right? The God instructed me. I am on a mission from God, right? And what have I done but tried to follow God's will? Perfect. And then to corrupt the youth, corrupt them to do what, right? Be better at argument, to be better at finding the truth, pursuing the truth. He compares himself here to like a gadfly, right? Someone that bites the state, and a fly, right? When a fly bites a horse and its tail swishes, right? He bites the state, and it doesn't really hurt it, right? But it causes movement, right? And movement is good for the state. Yeah, so to corrupt the youth, right? Ridiculous, right? Plato and his gaggle of followers that, uh, worshipped Socrates, and they did have some sort of worship for him. Started the longest running academy in history, basically, uh, in Athens because of Socrates, right? How can that be corruption? So he's not doing either of those things, but he's pissed all these people off and they don't care, right? So they vote him guilty. I don't remember the margins, but it's close, right? And so the second portion of the trial starts. Much like our Western Commonwealth, common law trials, you get to plead at sentencing, right? And he goes to his sentencing, and the way that works there is that he's supposed to recommend his sentence, right? And it's supposed to, I don't know, I think culturally it shows that even if you are found guilty, you show submission to the people's house, and they will show leniency, probably, right? And what he demands for his punishment is meals for life and a place, a house at the state's expense, up near the high and mighty of the Acropolis, the center of Athens, right? To be treated like an Olympian hero, right? Food and slaves and servants and all that, right? So that's the point, right? You pursue truth. You pursue truth like it is your heroic ideal, right? Like your Achilles, and whoever's in governance over you is just Agamemnon, right? He's just an obstacle to your glory, to your honor, right? So if you want to be a hero in this new world, right? In a world after chariots have burned the cities to the ground, right? Of the Bronze Age collapse, and a new neoclassical hero, you pursue truth, right? And all heroes have followed Socrates since then, right? You pursue truth because truth has its own rewards. Truth allows you to impose your will on the world, right? And our will is to save it, right? Is to stop the sufferings of these peoples who have no part to play in the day-to-day, right? Everything is from the directing mind of the system. And the system we have now, it sucks, right? It sucks. We could go out to space, gather more resources than could even possibly be imagined, right? And militaries other than naval forces of the UN will become a complete thing of the past, right? Please push this channel. Copy, share, like, whatever. I hate asking, but this news this week has upset me. We have to go faster. We have to move faster, right? I gotta start talking to people. I gotta start working harder. I don't know what I'll do. I'll have to link like a Blue Sky account or something like that. I'm gonna try and continue to make improvements every day, but I need your help, right? I have a good plan. I am just a man, though. Thank you. Have a good day. Hello, you've made it to the end of the video. Thank you. This channel has one mission: to prevent civilizational collapse associated with climate change, to prevent 100 million refugees by 2035, to stop 7 billion from starving to death by 2075. And we will do this through one main vehicle. We mean to unite the Anglosphere. We will do this by convincing the Commonwealth of His Majesty King Charles III to apply for statehood as one. And then with this new power, we will be able to negotiate in good faith with the rest of the world on how to tackle this crisis. Thank you and enjoy.